people keep telling you, you're too tall, you're too fat, you're too ugly, you're too black, you're not black enough, your tits are too small, your tits are too big. And you have to be like, they're all wrong. Everybody is wrong about me. And that's a very interesting mindset.
So I want to go back to something you said earlier, but first, let's drink.
Yes, before it gets watered down.
Okay, so tell me what we have here.
I brought you a margarita. So I started this company. It's less than a year old. It's called Philosophy, pronounced like philosophy. And it's a line of organic, ready-to-drink cocktails. And I wanted, I work really long hours and I do love a cocktail, but I'm very much like a strategic drinker. Like I'm a quantity over quality kind of drinker. So I want one really great drink. I would rather not drink if it's
Wait, you're quality over quantity.
Quality over quantity.
Okay.
So like I want one great
Yes.
drink. Something's going to knock my socks off versus coming home and just like knocking a beer or whatever like that. And I would have these great drinks out at these bars and then I'd want to recreate them at home and I was, either too irritated or incapable. And so I started batching them so I could keep them in my fridge. So I could have pour out one great drink when I got home and sit down on the couch for an hour and just have a moment for myself. And I thought, well, it would be really great if you could buy that at the store. But there are a lot of ready to drink cocktails out there and they're almost universally made with really low quality ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
I know I sound like the fine print in a commercial, but
by the way, this is an important part because I went to your website and the Philosophy website and I read that and I was like, yes, she's right about this.
Yeah, they're really so low quality. They're like, why am I putting this in my body? Like, for example, most ready to drink margaritas are made with oh my God, why can't I think of it right now? Malt liquor. They're made with malt liquor, which is, fancy beer if you grew up in the 70s. And then they add tequila flavoring. So there's not even actually tequila in these beverages. So you're just being tricked. You're being hoodwinked. And I just thought if I'm going to drink something, if I'm going to put something in my body, I want it to be something that comes from high quality ingredients. So there's only 3 ingredients in here: tequila, organic, triple sec, organic tequila, and organic lime. And we make our triple sec with organic tequila because typically triple sec is also made with neutral grain spirit, which is cheap vodka. So why have this really, really high quality tequila and then put cheap vodka in your marg?
Right.
So there's nothing in here but organic Blue Weber agave tequila and organic lime. And it's really tasty. And do you want to taste it?
I do want to taste it. I'm dying to taste it right now.
It's foolproof,
Wait,
so it's strong. Yeah, so it's cheers.
So what do you normally say? You just say cheers?
I just say, how about sláinte?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Sláinte.
Sláinte.
Ireland.
Yes.
All right. Oh, I totally taste it. It tastes delicious.
Thank you.
And like a real drink that you would
get
at a real place.
At a bar. Yeah.
Right, at a bar.
Yeah. It tastes
when you're on vacation.
Tastes like tequila, tastes like citrus. No oxidation, no weird artificial colors. Most of those things have they have this thing called limonene, which is what is left over when you squeeze all the good stuff out of a lime.
Oh, what?
And they use the leftovers to flavor and color those margs, which is why they smell and taste a little bit like cleaning products because they also use limonene to color and flavor cleaning products. So we just wanted something that tasted like there was actually lime in there.
Well, it does. You succeeded. Okay, so congratulations on this, by the way.
Thank you.
And
it's been really fun.
You sell them online.
So you can go to philosophy.com, but we also were in Total Wine on the East and West Coasts. And we're a year old, less than a year old. So we're expanding, a lot faster actually than we anticipated. But it's been really interesting because, I'm a founder. So a lot of this is about starting a company and the normal roadblocks and hurdles to expansion, market penetration, a lot of really boring stuff. But it's been really interesting for me to think about my life in that way because so much of my life has been thinking about it as an artist. And now to think about the construct and the mechanics of starting not a global business, but a national business has been a nice part of my brain to exercise.
I love that.
Lots of frustrations, but lots of excitement as well.
Yeah. But it is interesting because you're an artist and a creator, but at the same time now you are putting that business hat on.
Yeah. And, at this point in my life, I think that the part of my brain that is an organizer and a planner, and I always have been, has helped me get where I am as an artist because, 2% of it is creation and the other 8%. Oh, math. 2 sips of margarita, can't do math. 2% is inspiration, and then the other 98% obviously perspiration. But another way to talk about it is it's just drive. It's just incessant industry because so much of this business is telling you that you can't do things. And so for every moment that somebody grants you an opportunity to make art, most of the time you're just kind of toiling in obscurity. So if you can't find a way to stay busy and stay structured, you'll wipe out.
It is a really tough business. And I do think sometimes it's pretty impressive. Like, I think a lot of people think it's just luck for people who succeed in entertainment.
Right.
But maybe there's a little bit of being in the right place or knowing the right person at the right time or something like that. But there's like no way you can do it without being tough. Like, you need not only a thick skin, but you really need to be, like you're saying, you need to be in it to get it and keep going no matter what.
No matter what. Mentally tough. And find a way to fill all of the time that's available to you when you're not doing the thing. I mean, most people have a job and they go to it 40, 60, 8 hours a week. For actors and for many, many artists, you're not getting to do what you want to do. You're waiting for someone to give you permission to do it. And that can be pretty crazy making.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
yes.
Yeah, which I think is why you see, people want to say, oh, Hollywood is filled with nuts. But I think you have a combination of people for whom their identity is so tied with what they do that when things don't go their way, it can be really destructive emotionally and psychologically. But then also, and I have a girlfriend who's a psychotherapist, and I love her because she picks me apart for free. And
I'll do that too.
Okay, good. I'm happy. I can't wait. I can't wait to be shrunk. One of the things we talk about is and maybe you can actually verify this for me because sometimes I think she makes this shit up. So she said that there's a test for narcissism. And that if you get above a certain number, you're kind of like a textbook narcissist. But that they exclude a couple of categories from this narcissist qualification. And one of them is doctors. I think one of them is like astronauts or pilots or something like that. And then one of them is actors. And so she was like, we were talking about why that is. Like, why would you exclude those categories? And my thing was like, to be a doctor, you have to believe that, you have some kind of God-given or whatever your source is, skill to heal, like you're a life giver, right? That you can like resurrect the dead. You have to feel that way about yourself. And some people do it out of service, but I think a lot of people are really quite ego driven. And I think for actors, it's self-selecting for egotists, not because they're all narcissists, but because if they don't have a robust sense of self, they will be beaten to pulp and wash up pretty quickly. So the ones that survive can either be very narcissistic or just people who, even if they're told 1,000 times you're no good, have to still believe that they are good. And that kind of self-selects for a certain kind of self sense. Do you know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying, yes.
There are a lot of assholes, but the planet's riddled with them. So it's not like the entertainment business is special. But it is like, to make it to a certain point, you just have to, people keep telling you, you're too tall, you're too fat, you're too ugly, you're too black, you're not black enough, your tits are too small, your tits are too big. And you have to be like, they're all wrong. Everybody is wrong about me. And that's a very interesting mindset.
Yeah, it's interesting when you say that, because I know some people who have, like, they have had comments like that said to them, and they linger for their whole life.
Yes.
Right? So it's like, it can be once, and they self-destruct from it, and their entire life they're repeating that statement about you're too this, not enough that, or whatever, for their whole life. So,
and it becomes just, like a refrain in their head, right? But to make it in this business, you will hear it thousands of times. Even in success, you will hear it. That person doesn't deserve to be where they are right now. They slept their way to the top. They're a hack. They're untalented. They got lucky. And you have to still believe that you're talented and that you got there on your own engine. And that's just and it's a really, really, it's a very thin, like a very tiny needle to thread.
Okay, I'm going to reveal something about myself that like I would normally not, but you just brought it into me. Okay, so normally my tables are turned. I don't know what just happened here, but it's working. I'm going to go with it.
I love it. I can't wait.
So now you're the therapist. So often when I'm doing my show,